one, isn't it? But he is the lowest ranked tournament player in the tournament. But he's got nothing to lose in this situation. He has to leave it all out there, and we are about to get into our game, as you can see here. And I love the fact that Auba starts off with such an aggressive formation as well. He will change that 4-2-3-1. But Auba, I mean, we haven't been able to see too much of his gameplay today. He hasn't been in the featured games, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's going wrong, to be honest with you, because it's so often that we see him putting in a lot of goals that kind of get him out of situations where maybe defensively he isn't quite as solid. But what are your views on what Auba has to do here? Is it just tighten up at the back, or is it just do more of what you do best?
Sometimes he takes too many risks with manual defending, especially with his fullbacks. He will pull them out. He'll try and win the ball quite high up the pitch, because if he does win the ball high up the pitch, that's when he explodes into an attacking prowess. Like, it's just incredible to watch. However, when it goes wrong, if he misses that manual tackle, suddenly there's so much space for his opponent, and then he really struggles, Mark.
Okay then, well, here we go. Looks like we're about to get into the game, and we're at the big box, and this is a big match for both of these players, an elimination game. Tournament lives on the line here. There's going to be Auba shooting from right to left here to kick this one off. Wesh is on the ball, though, in the blue kit here, and Neymar on this right-hand side with an early cricketer, and this is a real opportunity here for Fweshish. We should say this as well. Coming into this tournament as the lowest-ranked player, and probably didn't have too many expectations on himself. However, if you can take down a name like Auba, Dan, the confidence that breeds has got to be huge for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is his first FUT Champions Cup, and he's starting this game well as well. Can I also point out how difficult it is to say the name Fweshist? You just want to say freshest. It just feels like natural, doesn't it? But he came into this tournament, he beat the likes of, I think it was one of the FUTWiz players that he took down in qualifiers, actually, FUTWiz Dillian. And he was so happy to be here, to qualify to Singapore, to make his first FUT Champions Cup. And he wants to make a name for himself, and taking down the likes of Auba would definitely do that. However, it would only be the second time Auba's ever been eliminated in Swiss if he were to lose here today.
And the guys on the desk were talking about Auba's mentality as a player, how he's always got a smile in his face, but maybe it's time to get a little bit more serious here. 0-2 in the competition. Do you feel like sometimes that can be a hindrance to him?
You said it earlier when you said Auba, when he's losing, he kind of explodes into action and he almost switches it up a gear. I feel like he's definitely going to have that opportunity in this game, knowing that he should be the favourite, but at the same time, there's always going to be that doubt in the back of his mind of, oh wait, I could go 0-3. That's pretty embarrassing for the 5th seeded player on the PS4 side of things.
Well, here comes Neymar then, into Ronaldo then for Fweshist. He's coming forward now. That's a nice little ball around the corner. Tried to find an extra pass into Pele there. Interesting to see Pele starting. See that Prime Icon Moments card, 99 rated overall now. And it's going to be interesting to see the impact that these new FUT items have on some of these games. Dan, we saw it when Team of the Year came to fruition. The impact of Mbappe, Neymar, when they had on these teams, sliding into a lot of starting lineups after sort of initial feeling out process for a lot of these players. But these Prime Icon Moments, we're seeing, obviously, Hullet being put in there, sort of slight upgrade from that Prime Icon. But interesting to see Vieira and what other impact these players can have.
Yeah, Vieira and Hullet, they got their upgrades, and naturally they're going to be included in all of these squads. But it's seeing the introduction again to the likes of Cruyff, for example. It's great to see him breaking in, at least on the subs bench, but sometimes in the starting lineup as well with the likes of Pele and Eusebio. But some of the players are just going with their familiar strategy of what they've played in recent events. For example, Tex sticking to what he's known, just going for the upgrades of Vieira and Hullet. Sticking with those Team of the Year players, even sticking with Rio Ferdinand, his normal Prime FUT item.
We were talking to him last night about it, and his response was quite simply, what a player. That was exactly his quote that he said. So he's obviously a big Ferdinand fan, and he hasn't done him too badly so far. But start of this game's been a little bit cagey, to be honest with you, Dan.
It's funny because when people ask me about Tex, I say the same thing, just what a player. And to be honest, I usually say similar things about Auba and how he goes forward in the game. But certainly this has been a cagey affair to start with.
Well, here's Vieira then. Might be a chance here for Auba. A little bit of room for Mbappe. Hits it straight at the goalkeeper there, maybe predicting some goalkeeper movement and going for a more central shot to try and beat that. Marcelo then with the cricketer from the corner kick, couldn't quite find the space to get inside and maybe find a pullback to one of the waiting strikers. And Fweshis now has the chance to bring this one away. But 26 minutes gone down, almost half an hour in this game, and that was the first real chance to write home about for either of these players. It's been very, very tight affair, and maybe that's just a symptom of the pressure in this game and how both these players know at this point in the tournament, at 0-2, they can't afford to make a mistake.
We have pressure, and then we also have this current meta and how a lot of players are more than happy to sit behind the ball, but you've got to be very careful.
El Tornado into towards the back post there, and that might be the first goal. Yes, it is. And Mo Auba gets down that left-hand side, gets the cross in towards the back post, and not for the first time here in Singapore. We're going to see Cristiano Ronaldo get on the score sheet. Towering header, beats the goalkeeper. 1-0 to the German.
Just as I was saying, you've got to be careful of being exposed by the wing play. You can make so much movement by tapping that L1 button twice or the LB button, depending on which console you're on, making those runs, playing that over-the-top through ball, playing a low-driven through ball. And then, of course, we know how powerful El Tornado crosses are at the moment. But that's the perfect opener for Mo Auba. And now Fueshish is going to have to answer here. But sometimes we see players crumble once they do fall a goal behind because they try and get a little bit more attacking with their play.
Pele then. Oh, it's a beautiful little hill-to-hill. Good stuff here from Fueshish, bringing out a lot of skill moves at the moment. Driven pass inside. Hullet now brings Vieira into play. Round the corner to Pele. Well defended, though, by Mo Auba. And he's going to be happy to just bring the ball away from that restart. Have possession. Just slow things down a little bit, because the last thing you want to do, having just worked so hard to get that lead, is concede immediately and then have to start all over again.
It is a strange situation to be in when you go up against a player like Mo Auba and you know he's a kind of shoot-on-sight kind of player. As you see, as soon as he notices just that slight little bit of space, he is going to have a whack. And I wonder if, as a defender, you think, all right, should I offer a little bit more space on the outside of the box, try and encourage a shot from a weird angle, and then I'm going to regain possession? I feel like that might actually work against a player like Mo Auba.
It's an interesting theory. We'll have to see if some players maybe think about that themselves and look to give him the lower percentage chances before he can create one of those higher percentage chances to convert. But Fueshish here hasn't had too much of the ball in Mo Auba's final third here. Might be a chance now, but Vieira gets across and sniffs out the danger. Neymar now with the hill-to-hill and a lot of skill moves. Again, we're seeing a couple of step-overs combined there to try and beat the man, but hasn't been too effective with those skill moves. We've seen a lot of them sort of in non-dangerous areas, should we say. Not like when you see players on the edge of that 18-yard box looking for those elasticos, the little hill-to-hill. But here's Mo Auba now, does take that shot on first time. Now Vieira on the follow-up. Van Dijk's going to win that header and get it away. But again, Mo Auba sees the opportunity to strike it down and he takes that chance.
And I think there are those players who are just going to keep hitting those shots from outside the box, like Ajax Danny as well, tries the finesse, and one in like, what, 20 is probably going to hit the target as well, even if you're going for the kind of 360 spin that we often saw in the original meta. But the first half was quite closely contested. Even though Fueshish did have more possession, he didn't really have the shots to show for it. You were completely right. He's trying to pull out those skill moves, but perhaps not in the right areas. If he does drive into the 18-yard box, then we might see him actually get a little bit more success from those skill moves. He just needs to maybe look at where Mo Auba is switching to the manual defending and try and expose that.
So then just the one goal between these two players at the end of the first half in our first leg. Second half underway. And the fascinating thing for me to watch in this tournament is the introduction of Vieira and Hullet. They've been such a, excuse the pun, iconic duo in that midfield in competitive FIFA for a number of years now. To see them be upgraded even more, I mean, it's got to be terrifying to go up against.
It really is. We thought maybe like the likes of Team of the Year Kante would come in and change things up a little bit, but even his incredible FUT item just wasn't enough because of the stature of Kante, and the build is not going to rival the likes of Hullet and Vieira. But a little bit of a chance there. As you can see, Fueshish just kind of sat back in his chair with a little bit of relief. Fueshish, of course, from Australia as well. You were saying earlier, Mark, that maybe a time zone advantage for a lot of these players?
It certainly is. I mean, I think Red Eye summed it up pretty well at the moment. We're all feeling a little bit tired, should we say, but if there's anything that's going to wake you up and get you going in the morning, it's definitely the FIFA 19 action that we're going to see for the next 3 days here in Singapore. Mo Auba then on the attack once more. Neymar around the corner to Mbappe, looking to use the pace of Ronaldo, but the quickest defenders in the game, especially in that centre-back position. Rafael Varane will be able to match Cristiano Ronaldo pace for pace, and now here comes Fueshish. Overlapping run, that's a great ball over the top as well. Can he take advantage of this chance? Mbappe lays it back to Vieira. Just look for that extra pass, but Marcelo makes the interception. That was the first real opportunity we've seen for Fueshish to get into that final third, get in behind the defense of Mo Auba, and Danny just couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, you can see the frustration from Fueshius as well, because he knows he could have done a little bit more in that scenario.
And here is Mo Auba. Oh, tried to get the finish past David De Gea there, but almost cost him at the other end.
And that frustration is going to kick in sometimes, and you have to just keep battling on. You have to just notice that those chances are going to come. You have to just focus on the positives. And that's going to be a positive for Mo Auba as well. He's been knocking on that door for quite a while now, Mark.
You have to go back to just a few moments ago where Fueshius had that ball in behind, and Mo Auba now goes forward, and we talk about being clinical, and when you find yourself in these positions, you have to take those chances. Mo Auba now doubles his lead. Makes the comeback even more difficult for his opponent now. But remember, we play 2 legs here in competitive FIFA 19, so now it's just a case of maybe thinking ahead, not letting this get out of hand, not letting Mo Auba get flowing too much in his attacking play, because I've said it before, I've said it 1,000 times, how good he is when he does get that momentum down.
However, he is 2-0 up, and as I say all the time, 2-0 seems to be that scoreline that always gets players worrying a little bit. You always want to be searching for that third goal to try and put that final nail in the coffin.
Here's Neymar then, dragged back from Mo Auba, tries to find the ball back to Mbappe. He's just toying with the defence now, and oh, just a bit of a loose pass there. You saw Mo Auba in the player cam, a little bit of a wry smile on his face. Maybe not where he was quite looking for that pass to go.
And it's not like Fueshius is unfamiliar with these situations as well. Yes, okay, it's his first FUT Champions Cup. However, he plays in Australian leagues. He represents the Newcastle Jets as well. So a very well-known player from Australia, and he'll be wanting to show what he's made of. I don't think he's going to go down without a fight here, despite being 2 goals behind. He's shown a lot of promise going forward. He just needs that one extra chance.
Well, here is the chance. Pele manages to get inside. Gullit just about got enough on him. You can see Fueshius' reaction there, a little bit frustrated that he managed to get in behind with the fake shot, and maybe felt there was a bit of extra contact that maybe should have seen his player go to ground and maybe get a penalty, but Gullit's contact wasn't enough for the referee to make a decision. Now we're seeing some changes come in from Mo Auba, changing out a couple of those midfielders. Messi on the pitch as well, just bringing some fresh legs on just to try and see this game out.
Did I just notice Gullit being put to right back? Because I think I did. I think Kante moved into midfield to try and get a little bit more energy, a little bit more pace to chase players around. But Gullit there just for those headers, just to make sure that no kind of El Tornado cross action is going to come in. Maybe he's noticing that Fueshius is struggling, and suddenly he might start crossing the ball.
Ronaldo then finds a bit of space. Big save though from Van der Sar. There was a big chance there for Fueshius. Didn't quite time the finish to get the maximum amount of power and accuracy on that shot, but he's looking dangerous now. Neymar does put it towards the back post, and of all players on the pitch, it's the smallest man in the centre there, N'Golo Kante, who gets up and wins the header.
Yeah, he might struggle jumping, but I mean, he is so quick that he is going to get into those spaces, so you can still rely on him to at least be there, and if no one is there to challenge him, then it's going to be more than fine. With Kante just being introduced to the pitch. But I really like the addition of Gullit being put at right back. I think that's very smart play from Mo Auba, really reading the game successfully.
And here's Mbappe then. Tries to find the ball into, I believe that was R9, who was just waiting sort of in that cam position, just outside the 18-yard box. And Fueshius here has grown into this game, especially in the second half. Spreads the ball out to Marcelo now. He's had some success in behind here, down these wing positions. Mbappe now finds Neymar. Good strength from the Frenchman to find the Brazilian, but speaking of strength, Sergio Ramos comes across and was a little bit of a risky ball there, but Marcelo does win the header, but slightly sloppy play here from Mo Auba, and it's not the first time we've seen this season. Fueshius now with Mbappe, tries to get past Ramos, but again, that Team of the Year FUT I am stand strong, and Mo Auba now will come away.
And we say sloppy play, but it is very difficult to keep possession in FIFA 19 when your opponent is pressing as hard as Fueshius is right now. And that's why this 2-goal cushion is such a weird scoreline to have, because naturally your opponent's going to start pressuring more, and you just feel like you're just contained so close to your box that you make mistakes like that.
And there is that mistake. And now Ronaldo comes forward. Neymar out to Mbappe. Manages to get past one, but just a slightly rushed pass there. And you can see the frustration starting to creep in here for Fueshius. Knows his tournament life is on the line, but at the same time, you have to remember, with 86 minutes gone in this first leg, there's still 90 minutes ahead to turn this one around.
Yeah, 90 minutes, and Freshers will know full well he's got a lot to offer.
Big chance here. CR7, this is a chance here. What a tackle from Ruud Gullit coming across from that right back position. And that might be a chance that Fueshish looks back on and thinks, I had to do better there. I had to make some better decisions.
I think he'll have done enough in this first half to at least have some confidence going into the second leg. He just needs to have similar pressure in the early stages. He might have to go kind of like all-out attack, which will leave him vulnerable at the back, yes. But it's whether Mo Auba sits back and sits on this 2-0 lead. That's always the big thing for these players.
Certainly has been more opportunities in the offensive areas of the pitch here for Fueshish in this second half of this first leg. But I believe that will be it. There is the final whistle there. Mo Auba will be very happy with how things are looking now. 2-0 to him after that first leg. You can see coach standing behind Fueshish there, a little reassuring touch on the shoulder, thinking, focus up now. It's do or die.
Yeah, I mean, as a reminder, if you've just joined us, both of these players at 0-2 in the Swiss. And if you go 0-3, you are going home. And it is a long way home for Mo Auba as well, all the way back to Germany. Of course, we won't send them home straight away. And I say we, it's not like I have the power to do anything anyway. They could still get to enjoy the sights of Singapore, of course. However, that's not what any player will want to do here. They will want to be achieving those global series ranking points to get themselves closer to the playoffs and get themselves closer to the E-World Cup.
Of course, we have a prize pool of $100,000 as well. So a lot of money up for grabs to these players as well. And at 0-2, it does change the mindset of these players, you know, in the Swiss format. It's a position you don't want to be in because even if you win this game, Dan, you've still got another elimination game to come after that. And then if you win that one, another potential elimination game. It's such a tough situation to be in mentally for these players because say Mo Auba comes off out the back of this game and wins it, you kind of naturally after a win, you kind of relax a little bit. And then you're going into another game, and if you switch off for 2 seconds, you're out the tournament. So how do you think you kind of have to approach these situations? You have to kind of, is this where a coach comes into it and says, sort of whispers in your ear, kind of, yeah, great stuff, you got the win here, but try to focus up once more?
Sweet nothings into your ear. I mean, some players thrive in these situations, and I think Mo Auba is that kind of player. He will look back at his history in Swiss performances and say, hey, only once have I ever gone out in a Swiss tournament, and that was 2 tournaments ago. He'll be thinking, look, if I just focus, if I play my game, if I go back to what I know, if I just play my attacking football, he's going to score goals. He just needs to outscore his opponent. But you can see there, he's having the conversation. He's 2-0 up. How does he approach this second leg? I think he should keep going forward, because I think if he sits back and allows Fueshish to pressure him, like he did in that second leg, suddenly 1 goal is going to be able to work its way through. And then suddenly at 2-1,
we all know how it goes, don't we? Yeah, we all know how we all know how it goes. If you can see that 1 goal, the seed of doubt becomes a tree of doubt very quickly. It grows and it gets into your mind, and you start playing tricks on yourself, and it's like, oh God, just don't choke this one. Come on, because you know the situation that you're in. So it certainly is going to be an interesting. I always feel the first 45 minutes kind of decide these second legs. If Mo Auba scores again here and goes into that second half with a 3-goal lead, then that's pretty much game over. It's such a tough scoreline to pull back, I should say. Whereas if Fueshish comes out in this first half and he doesn't have to score, so to speak, but if he can create chances and keep Mo Auba out and set himself up for a kind of grandstand finish in that second half, then that could be where the game is decided.
It's why I think 3-0 is the best scoreline to have, because once you're at 3-0, you can keep pushing, you can keep going for that goal, because you can say, all right, if I do concede at 3-0, it's 3-1, and then I can start playing more defensive. Whereas at 2-0, you've already started playing defensive, and it's just that 1 goal can completely change everything, and it's happened so many times. It really is like a cursed scoreline. It's countless times over the past few tournaments where a 2-0 lead has slipped to a 2-2, goes to extra time, and they lose 3-2 because momentum's behind the other player, they're feeling good, they feel like they're playing well, whereas when you've dropped a 2-0 lead, you're just going to be hard on yourself, and you're going to beat yourself up.
And it's also one of those situations where you're kind of forced to make changes as a player. Tactically, you might stumble upon something that works for you. For example, if you go to 0-2 down in a game and you know, you think, oh, I've got to change formation now. I've got to change the you change to the 4-2-2, and all of a sudden you start having success with that, and it's like, oh, okay. And now you go into the second leg, maybe you'll start off with a 4-2-2. It forces your hand a little bit to try something different that maybe you wouldn't have tried before. I mean, what would you suggest, speaking of which, from what you've seen in that first leg, for that man on your screen right now, Fueshish, to maybe think about changing, or do you think it's just a case of more the same, just being a little bit more effective in that final third?
I think effectiveness is definitely something he should look at. When he gets the ball into that final third, he's trying to maybe play 1 pass too many or trying a skill move 1 too many. Just have a pop shot. Take a shot from outside the area, get a feel for if your opponent's moving their goalkeeper a little bit. might get a lucky corner, and then suddenly you've got a chance to get a front post header, a back post header, however you want to approach that corner. Set pieces are so strong in FIFA 19 if you have some sort of rehearsed tactic. So I'd just like to see a couple more shots from him, try and put Mo Auba under pressure, because even though Fueshiest had so much possession towards the end of that game, Mo Auba didn't feel particularly threatened because he was able to win that ball back around the box. He even put Hullet to right back just in case the crosses came flooding in. But crosses didn't come flooding in because Fueshiest didn't really change things up. So I'd like to see maybe just a bit more experimentation from him with his attack. Just have a little bit of versatility, cross it in a little bit more, play a couple more through balls. Just try something different if your current strategy is not working.
By the way, you've actually absolutely nailing saying Fueshiest now. You were worried at the start. You've killed it, man. I'm proud of you.
It still feels unnatural, I'm going to be honest.
Keep it up.
It would be the only benefit of him being eliminated from the tournament is I wouldn't have to say it again. However, the Australian certainly has a chance coming back into this one.
Okay, then we can see a few little position changes coming in from Mo Auba just before we do get this second leg underway. If you're just joining us, of course, Mo Auba, after the first leg, is 2-0 to the good. However, his current Swiss record for both of these players, Fueshiest and Mo Auba, currently stands at 0-2. So still an elimination game for both these players. It's going to be Mo Auba who gets us underway.
Keeping a clean sheet would be extremely important, I think, here for Mo Auba. If we look at his first 2 games, he's already conceded 12 goals coming into this. So I think if he can get a little bit more confidence in his back line, that's going to do wonders for him approaching the next set of games for him.
We'll have to see if he can keep things tight at the back. Limit his opponent to a lack of chances, should we say. Hold it now in the middle here for Fueshiest. That's a slightly risky ball through to Virgil van Dijk, but it pays off for him now. Pele going to be dispossessed, and good early pressure here from Mo Auba. I like this. He's applying the pressure to his opponent, and sometimes when you're trying to create a comeback, the last thing you want to do is be put under pressure, and that is going to be the worst kind of start. The ball into the back post, and Pele has just stood there, makes it 3-0, and we see that trademark celebration come in from Mo Auba. I think that's going to settle the nerves for sure.
And it's what I was talking about just before we got into the first leg. Mo Auba, he likes to manually defend, he likes to pressure with those players, try and dive in with the manual tackle. And it's great when it works, because he wins the ball high up the pitch, and he can take advantage of those situations. I was a little bit hesitant when he started doing it straight away in this game, because if it had gone wrong, he could have allowed Fueshiest back into the game. But Mo Auba, he sticks to his game plan of playing attacking football. He's rewarded for it, and now he's got that ever-so-needed 3-goal cushion.
And look at this, he's still keeping the pressure on. Unfortunately, after winning the ball back, gave it away almost immediately, but as I say that, he gets it back. Marcelo then in this left-back position, and it'll be interesting to see if maybe Mo Auba can take a page out of what we heard from Tex earlier today, saying, you know, he's constantly learning, constantly evolving his game, even the defensive aspects. When he does have those 2-3 goal leads, he's looking to just close these games out and solidify and not give too many chances to his opponents. But it's kind of against Mo Auba's natural game, isn't it, to do that?
It is. Really, in previous tournaments, when he's tried to do that, when he's tried to close out games and play a little bit more defensive, he's opened up opportunities to his opponent and he's been punished for it. So I prefer him playing this kind of hyper-defensive, manual defending for chances like this.
Well, here is Mbappe, then turns back onto his left foot here. Ronaldo almost managed to find Pele there, who's looking for his second goal of the game. And now up the other end, Varane has some work to do at the back here for Mo Auba.
Those are really important situations as well. When you have that ball being lofted over and you have the chance to just head that ball down to another defender, just get rid, clear it up the pitch, give back possession to your opponent, whatever. If you risk a header for just being passed naturally to your opposing centre-back, suddenly the striker is just going to be right on your back. And you've got to be very, very careful in those kind of situations.
First time we've seen Fueshiest then go for that El Tornado cross, looking for a header that you were talking about, Dan, earlier on, and now Ronaldo straight up the other end from Mo Auba. This is really end-to-end here, and maybe a slight overconfidence there from Mo Auba. Is that going to cost him now as Neymar comes away? Good tackle, though, from Rafael Varane. And that's, to me, that's maybe a little bit of a lack of concentration there from Mo Auba. I get the initial use of the active first touch system just to get into a little bit of space, buy a little bit of space, but 2 or 3 seems a little bit kind of a cruise mode kind of decision.
Or sometimes when you manage to beat a player after you've done it twice, you think if you do it a third time, you're going to be able to fool him enough to get so much space you can push forward. So that's why he's gone for a third one there, I think. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. It would have looked great if it had actually pulled it off. But I like him going for a little bit of flair. That's why we love Mo Auba, after all. That's why he's one of the most entertaining players to watch on the PS4 side of things, in my opinion.
Entertainment does not get results, though, all the time, Dan, as we're seeing here, 0-2 in Swiss.
Don't count him out just yet. That's all I'll say about Mo Auba. He always manages to find a way to get through these Swiss rounds. But, of course, being 0-2, even if he was 1-2, you are going to come across better opponents as you get into the latter stages of Swiss, especially when you get to like 2-2. You might have to face the likes of, I don't know, who knows, Megabit perhaps.
Big chance there for Pele. Took that one early, Mo Auba, as we see him do oh so often. Keeping that high pressing game as well here, Mo Auba. Freshest obviously has to score 3 goals here just to send this one to extra time, but Mo Auba's looking to keep the pressure on, win the ball high up the pitch, and disrupt the attacks of Fueshish before he can even get anything going. CR7 then, with the El Tornado. Varane drops him just outside the edge of the box here. And there is going to be the opportunity here from the set piece.
It's one of those weird angles from the set piece as well, where you're really tempted to go direct on goal and try and slot this one into the top left-hand corner just past the goalkeeper, but we will see a lot of players just kind of pass it short, maybe flick it up to a player next to them.
And this is a position that we saw MS Tassari score back in London a couple of months ago now against Texton. That dramatic last-second winner, just whipped the ball into, I believe it was Pele who won the header. It's Pele who's actually stood over the set piece now. Is he going to look to find one of these players in the middle? Goes to Vieira on the edge of the box instead and just shows too much of that to Cristiano Ronaldo. Now Cancelo can bring it away.
And that's a shame that Vieira was in that position, really. And maybe I wouldn't have gone for that pass because it is risky.
Should have gone for that pass there. And now Neymar's in behind for Mo Auba. Onto his right foot, buries it. And I think that might be game, set and match here on the counter-attack. Mo Auba with Neymar makes no mistake with the finish.
And it's all off the back of that set piece as well. You've got to be careful kind of tossing that ball into Vieira. He's not going to be that good at controlling it as it would be if you'd gone for a more attacking player. And I feel like maybe Fueshish just didn't really know what he wanted to do with that set piece, so just went for something that he instantly saw, and he's been punished for it. Fantastic counter-attack from Mo Auba. That's what he's great at doing. And that should be the tie done and dusted, unless there's just a miracle now for Fueshish to kind of waken up here.
Never say never in FIFA 19, though. We've seen some crazy comebacks in all of the tournaments we've had this year, and CR7 looking to answer back almost immediately here for Fueshish. Just before half-time, corner, Neymar in towards that back post. Can't get it over the enormous frame, though, of Edwin van der Sar here. And Mo Auba with a chance to maybe just slow things down and wait out that half-time whistle.
Edwin van der Sar, one of the 60-odd icons that hasn't had a prime icon moment made for him. I'm hoping that will change, because that would be an absolutely incredible FUT item to be in the game.
Some great moments for Fulham. CR7 then. Into Hullet, Mo Auba just looking to close this one out. At the end of the game, Neymar finds the ball into Vieira now, and there might be a chance here for Mo Auba to really tie this one up and put Fueshish to the sword before half-time. Hullet now into Neymar. Mo Auba just kind of toying with Fueshish here.
But there's still 10 men behind the ball for Fueshish. He's 4-0 down. It's coming up to half-time in the second leg.
It doesn't matter, though, because Neymar is going to bury it. Gets it onto his left foot, times the finish superbly. And it rattles off the post, and Mo Auba has come to life finally in Singapore.
And his headset's off. He knows it's game over. He's 5-0 up. I just feel like Fueshish should have changed something up a little bit here. He's still playing defensive. Maybe he didn't have a plan B. It's probably going to be the end of the tournament for him, which is going to be a shame. However, it was his first FUT Champs Cup. And, you know, it'll be an experience. He will learn from it. And who knows, maybe we'll see him again in the future.
We're actually going to move across to one of our other games going on at the moment. Cody the finisher going up against Megabit. Both these players currently sat at 1-1 in the Swiss format. And you can see here, much tighter game, tied up at 1-1 after the first leg. 0-0 currently in the second leg. And now it's Cody the finisher. First player on the attack that we're going to see here. El Tornado towards the back post. Oh, Pele with the acrobatics at the back post. Just couldn't find the finish after he had been found with that cross. Big chance there for Cody the finisher.
And it's strange to see Megabit at kind of 1-1 in Swiss as well. He is the kind of player you usually expect to just be absolutely dominating. However, some of these players do have slow starts coming into tournaments where they do just ease themselves in. Of course, I would be expecting to see Megabit on the Xbox side of things getting all the way and having to beat players like Tex if he wants to actually achieve some greatness. But he has the capability to do so. At the moment, he has to beat players like Cody the Finisher. As 1-1 would have been a very tight first leg.
I mean, Cody the Finisher is such a dangerous player as well. You look back at FIFA 18, he was always in the conversation for potential tournament winners, potential upset causers. It's probably a better way of putting that, upset causers. But anyway, so to match up against him and you're 1-1, could be one of those potential banana skins where all of a sudden you're in elimination position and now Megabit's coming forward. Can't beat De Gea though. Big chance though for the German there. And now from the corner, takes it short. Eusebio puts it in towards the back post. De Gea has to come out and Pele will end up getting the ball clear here for Cody the Finisher, but Megabit looking dangerous going forward once more.
And similar to the German man we were previously watching in Auba, it is one thing that Megabit has always shined. It's been his attacking prowess. You do kind of have to go at these players. When you know that they're attacking, you know that they're going to be hitting you hard, you kind of have to try and do the same for them. You can't just sit back, put 10 men behind the ball, and just hope they're not going to be able to break through, because the greatest players do find ways to break through. And they have been finding more and more ways as this meta has developed.
Ball in there from Neymar, looking for CR7! Got his head on it and he timed it, but De Gea made a fairly comfortable save for Cody the Finisher. Megabit keeping the pressure on, forcing the throw in for his opponent. And that's one thing that Megabit does do so well is keep the pressure on high up the pitch. It's so difficult to deal with that kind of pressure down.
It really is, and Megabit is one of the best at doing it as well. It's one of the things I've always credited him for every single tournament, is he always just says, I'm not going to relinquish possession. I'm not going to allow my opponent to outplay me on the pitch. Instead, I'm going to have such an aggressive line. I'm going to be winning that ball high, because if you do win the ball high, you're going to get more chances naturally. Even though Cody the Finisher has had more possession in this game, you can see Megabit just doesn't want to allow him to get into his own half.
Again, Cody the Finisher can't find a way through. Even the front players, the forward players here of Megabit, they're making little interceptions and cutting those passing lanes. Now Megabit's going to come forward once more. Vieira finds the ball around the corner to Ramos, and Ramos is in a bit of space here on this right-hand side. Neymar back to Hullet. Finds Mbappe. This is looking dangerous for Megabit now. Gets the ball to Mbappe. That was an important interception, though, by Vieira. Now Cody the Finisher on the counter-attack. This is where he can be dangerous, though, Dan.
He really can, and that's where Megabit sometimes will be exposed, but you've got to be careful with the ball. You have to go forwards. But I've got to say, in those situations, when you know it's your last chance, you're not always looking at the clock mark. You don't
I was going to say, one thing I am looking at, though, is Cody the Finisher. He can't believe the referee has blown his whistle there because he was clean through.
He's gone backwards. You have to go forwards if you are in the last couple of minutes of added on time. But it is very difficult sometimes to keep track of both your play, the defenders, where you're going to be passing, and the clock that's on the screen. So much to think about in FIFA.
And he done so well to create that chance, and that is where Megabit can be exposed sometimes, is on the counter-attack, because he does throw so many players forward in his offensive style of play, always looking to make those runs off the ball, push as many players forward as he can. It does leave space at the back down, and that was an opportunity that Cody the Finisher almost, barring the referee's whistle, of course, took advantage of in that situation.
And Megabit will know now that he needs to be careful at the back with those kind of counter-attack opportunities. Because he's pressuring high up the pitch, if he brings those fullbacks out a little bit more, those chances will arise. But it's not stopping him in this second leg. He's still just pressuring with that manual defending. You can see the cursor switching to the player, that player running at the attacker, and then switching off and going with another one. Fantastic defensive ability from Megabit.
Calm and composed defending there from Marcelo, and Megabit, though, took it down on the chest, didn't feel the pressure of the man in behind there towards that back post. And now Megabit will come forward once more. And I don't want to use the P word, Dan, because we've seen Megabit involved in a lot of penalty shootouts recently. Just used it, unfortunately, but...
No. You've said it now.
Tied up at 1-1 on aggregate here, and coming towards that last half an hour of the game. Maybe it starts to slip into the mind of Megabit once more.
And if you're wondering why we're talking about penalties, Megabit, unfortunately, a couple of tournaments ago, had the chance to win his first tournament got to a grand final, a cross-console final, when he lost on penalties. And it was to Stefano Pina, of course, in the LQE in London. So that was certainly on his mind in Atlanta, but then he won a penalty shootout in Atlanta, and he came up to me afterwards, and he was like, hey, finally I can win a penalty shootout. I don't know what that accent was, by the way. That was terrible. I don't know if it was German or French. Either way, I tried.
It was European, I will say that. But anyway, Eusebio coming forward once more now for Megabit. We are just about to hit that hour mark in the game. No big chances in this second half, but there might be one for Megabit now. Pull it on the edge of the box, Mbappe. So many players committed forward here for Megabit. Needs to find that pass into one of these players inside the box, and Neymar's done well to find space, and just wide of the upright. Actually took a deflection off a defender here, and Megabit has another chance here. He times the finish in towards that near post. Cody, the finisher, though, survives what has been wave after wave of attack here from Megabit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 10 men behind the ball. He's making it extremely difficult for Megabit to actually create any chances, but you saw the ability that Megabit has on the ball. He can beat that man, he can beat the second man, but sometimes it comes down to, can he beat the third man, the fourth man? Because it just seemed like there were so many red and blue shirts running at him. It makes it very difficult.
Oh, that was a good-looking pass there from Cody, the finisher, looking for the run of the forward player, but just managed to get in the way of that one, Megabit, and win the ball back. And now Vieira comes forward, and Megabit, with the bit between his teeth, coming forward here. And you feel like there might be a winner. One more goal might be enough to seal this and put one of these two players, I should say, on a 2-1 Swiss record. Well defended here, but he gets a little bit lucky. The ball breaks back to him. But Cody, the finisher, is defending extremely well against one of the best defensive players that we have on the Xbox.
Maybe Cody, the finisher, taking a leaf out of Nicholas's book. Of course, both of them representing FC Basel. And it was a shame, of course, Nicholas, that couldn't be here at this tournament, so maybe Cody, the finisher, wants to step up and do his best for FC Basel here at the tournament. But certainly a difficult tie against Megabit in round number 3. But I feel like you can't expect an easy tie ever when it comes to these stages in tournaments. The qualification process is difficult enough as it is. And we see the same top players qualifying tournament in, tournament out at the moment.
Here's Varane then, gets the ball into CR7. Ball will go out for a throw in here. Now you're going to see a couple of changes here, and it'll be interesting to see if any risks are taken by any of these players. Will they bring on a couple of players that they're unfamiliar with? Will they try a change of formation? We're seeing Lionel Messi on their right-hand side. That new prime icon moments for Iron Pele in the centre, and I'm expecting to see quite a lot of him as we go through the tournament.
Have you been lucky enough to try him? Well, have you been lucky enough to try him?
Yeah,
because, I mean, like, in draft, you've tried.
He's phenomenal.
Absolutely incredible.
Absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, I wish I could afford him in-game, because I would most definitely be making that purchase. However, yeah, I've had a couple of drafts where I've used him, and it is unreal. And I guess probably paying homage to his real-life skills and how successful he was back in the day. Was he as successful as the likes of Lionel Messi? Who knows? But we
were having that conversation, but that's a conversation for another time. That was our journey into the big box this morning. Conversation about Pele and Messi. It got very complicated. And anyway, let's keep it simple. Let's focus on what's in front of us, and that is the fact that this game is still tied up at 1-1 on aggregate. Deadlock yet to be broken in this second leg, and no real chances to write home about so far, with just around 10 minutes to go. Megabit has found some space now on this left-hand side. Mbappe back to Hullet. Vieira looking for a winner here. Ball falls back. Pele fresh on the pitch, and almost makes the difference there for Megabit, but for a last-second defensive challenge.
Oh, that's poor. That's poor from the corner. That's just rushed from Megabit. Didn't take his time. He wanted to actually just try and get that ball to the edge of the box. We see text to it all the time, because you can do so much when the players are pushing out, but thankfully he's regained possession here.
Maldini gets across to cut that out, but the referee has blown up for a free kick here for Megabit. With just 7 in-game minutes left here, a goal at this stage should be enough for one of these players to pop another W in that wins column. Well defended, though, by Cody, the finisher. Again, these two players will know each other very, very well, of course. played numerous times over the years in competitive tournaments. And you can just kind of feel the tension in this game now, Dan.
You can argue this is a more important game for Cody the Finisher as well. Megabit, I mean, in third in the Global Series rankings on the Xbox side of things, already secured himself most likely in the E-World Cup finals. Whereas for Cody the Finisher, he's still trying to make sure he is in that spot for playoffs, get himself closer to the E-World Cup finals. So he'll know that these Global Series ranking points getting out of the Swiss stage is going to be absolutely massive for him, because it's crunch time now. We're getting to the latter stage of the season at our 5th FUT Champions Cup now. And not every player is like Tex. They haven't qualified for every tournament that's existed.
Here's Vieira then for Cody to finish up. A goal here would be enough, and he's kept possession nicely here to make sure that he has the final say in whether this match is won or lost. Marcelo just about keeps that one in. Croqueta past one player, and there is going to be extra time. No shots on target there for Cody to finish up. Megabit with a couple of kind of half chances, if anything. Pele had that one chance that Cody the Finisher managed to get a block on to send it behind for a corner, but you're kind of looking at things at the moment. It looks like neither player is really grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck and wants to win it here in regulation time.
Exactly. One of them has got to consider taking a risk, and we can see Megabit just now going a little bit more attacking in his tactics as well. Just wants to switch things up, try and get higher up that pitch, try and win that ball to get a better opportunity. Because if you can win the ball in your opponent's half, suddenly their defensive player is going to be slightly out of position. Maybe a left back has pushed a little bit too far up, and then you've exposed their right wing. You can get a cross in, or maybe you can try and drive the ball in from the right-hand side. It's all these opportunities that can arise just from one little mistake or from one fantastic moment from yourself.
Here we go then, extra time here between Megabit and Cody to finish up. No goals to write home about so far in this game. It has been a tense one. You just feel what one big chance is what is going to separate these two players. And this is the kind of game that so far this season, when we have seen Cody the Finisher in tournament play, seems to just be on the wrong end of these kind of results. Has incredibly close games and just misses out to a goal or a late goal in extra time or something like that against these established players. And if things maybe just went his way a little bit more, we might have been talking about him a little bit more this season. A heavy touch there from Messi will give Megabit back possession.
But maybe that is because he doesn't take games by the scruff of the neck. Like you mentioned, maybe he does need to just take that risk. Yeah. Instead, he's sticking to his game plan, which, don't get me wrong, is a good way to approach a game. If you're comfortable with how you're playing, you don't want to switch it up and then suddenly make a mistake and give your opponent the game. But if you've noticed it's happened relatively, like quite a lot of times in tournaments, maybe you have to look at a game like this and say, hey, it's Megabit I'm going against. Maybe I should just take a risk here.
Chance here, Vieira into Hullet. Round the corner, Mbappe has space. He looked for that run of Pele in behind as well, but couldn't quite find it. Marcelo then almost gives the ball away though, Cody the Finisher, but manages to retain possession here. 10 minutes or so to go until half-time here. Mbappe. Ronaldo, there's space here for Lionel Messi on this left-hand side. He gets the ball back inside. Eusebio with a huge chance there for Cody to finish up, but David De Gea comes up big.
And which he so often does as well. David De Gea, I think, should be a staple in all of these teams. We know we see Neuer come into it sometimes. We see Van der Sar, but De Gea just seems to be such a good shot stopper in FIFA 19. Gets to the ground early, is so important with low-driven shots, low-driven time shots being very effective in this current meta.
Eusebio then coming forward for Cody the Finisher. Marcelo maybe looking for that last chance before the referee's half-time whistle here in extra time. Ronaldo has a bit of space. He's found Mbappe, and again, David De Gea with a huge save there for Megabit.
But this is scary times for Megabit as well. He just needs to stay through.
There we go. Can't wait for that whistle to come.
Half-time of extra time, 15 minutes away from penalties. We've had a few penalty shootouts already in the Swiss stages. I don't think we've had any on screen yet, though. And that is... Actually, no, we did. Of course, we saw Lev Vinken lose on penalties earlier, didn't we? To Stefano Peanut. sometimes when you do get two evenly matched players, two incredible players, sometimes it just comes down to a penalty shootout to try and split the difference. And even though it's 46 places that differentiate these in the Global Series rankings, Cody the finisher certainly has done fantastically against Megabit in this game.
He has done well, and Megabit has kind of relied on his goalkeeper a couple of times there in the first half of extra time to bail him out and keep this game tied up at 0-0. Marcelo then for Megabit from the restart. Mbappe just teasing the idea of that El Tornado. Pull it now. Megabit, maybe, if he gets that chance, could be more deadly in front of goal. Modric out to Mbappe. Into CR7. It's a great ball around the corner. Oh, the upright denies Megabit. He can't believe it.
He was celebrating. He thought it was in. He's timed it green with Lionel Messi. Team of the Year FUT out at Messi, and it still hit the post. So close for Megabit from snatching this one away.
But no reaction on the face of Cody the finisher. He stayed focused here. And now he's going forward. Eusebio with a chance to pull the back into towards that back post, and Mbappe gets back there to defend it. And I love this reaction from Cody the finisher. Knows that he's kind of ridden his luck a little bit, but kept his focus in game. Hasn't got carried away, and is looking to just put that behind him and find a chance of his own.
Mental game's so important in these kind of stages of extra time. You can't let anything slip. If you even make one mistake, take your eye off the ball, suddenly your opponent is going to be able to take advantage of that.
And this is exactly what Cody the finisher has been doing at the end of the last 3 halves, should we say, of football. Technically that doesn't make sense, I understand. It was 2 halves of regular time and 1 half of extra time, but kept this ball until the last attack of the game, making sure that he won't let Megabit have a chance, as I say that, to have that last attack of the half. And this is where you'll see Cody the finisher now go forward, create that chance. 120 minutes on the clock. Is there going to be heartbreak here for Megabit?
2 minutes of added on time, so he's got chance going forward now.
Stops up here, CR7. Well defended there by Megabit, and is there going to be a chance to get forward? He fires it forward into CR7. Pele comes forward now, and there it is. Penalty shootouts, Megabit, we're here again.
First penalty for Cody the finisher, though. It's Messi who steps up. He hit the post on the other side of things in regular time. Is he going to put this one just to the left of the keeper? Fantastic penalty. And now it's Messi again on the other side. That one gets saved, though. De Gea with a massive save for Cody.
Megabit's been here before, and he finds himself down by 1 penalty. Ronaldo steps up here for Cody. The finisher goes bottom right. And now he's up by 2. Straight down the middle. Pele then for Megabit.
Statistically, bottom left, the most common place for pro players. Boras legend, he taught me that little one. Do the players know that as well, though? And there it is, bottom left. Slotted home from Eusebio for Cody the finisher.
And Megabit is rocking in his chair. He knows he has to score here. Steps up. Oh, and it's saved by Cody the finisher. This one to win it then. CR7 for Cody the finisher. Trademark stance. Saved by Megabit. Ronaldo then for Megabit to score, and he is going to score. He stays alive. Pull it then. Steps up here for Cody the finisher. Megabit needs to save it and will not save it. Cody the finisher with a huge result here in the Swiss rounds. That is going to do wonders for that man's confidence.
And I think we can blame this one on you, Mark. You mentioned the P word early on in that second leg. And Megabit, he does struggle when it comes to penalties. He has been on the wrong end of the stick several times.